Hello, my name's Barry Soper, and I do wonder what the hell I'm doing here actually. That was The Persuasion of Martin Bosley, and this is politically neutral. I know, that's what I I thought, I'd ad-lib tonight, and the problem with ad-libbing was I did some bullet points yesterday and went home and sort of spoke to my television and unfortunately ran about double over time, so I thought, no, you've got to write it. So I'm such an indisciplined bloody speaker that I've actually written it. Because the problem with this sort of presentation is you've got, 6 minutes 40, I think, to deliver it. And, I said to Tom earlier, the man with a prostate problem. I mean, what if you're caught short and you need to go to the loo? The slides keep turning and you're stood here and you arrive back and your presentation's over. And that is a problem with a presentation like this. In fact, I'm in a bit of a hurry at the moment. But the problem is that, that you've got to keep it concise, which is, as you will appreciate, because I'm rambling now, I've got 2 minutes, that it's a bit difficult for me to do. Anyway, and when I say roll it, Fabio, I haven't said it yet, Fabio, I know you're from South America, but when I say roll it, Fabio, I'm buggered, the thing started, and I've just got to go. So, if the slides don't actually come up in what I'm talking about, just ignore it and look at me. I'll eventually make it. So, here we go. Roll it, Fabio. Well, Imbibe, it's an appropriate topic given the amount of Bellamy's bellies that occupy the corridors of power at the moment. The ghost of this man, of course, still stalks the place, and this picture was taken the day after what we call the Schnapps election. It's a contemplative pose, as you'll see, clearly trying to remember what he said the night before. And that reminded me of a Tom Scott cartoon. He summed it up on the same day as that photo was taken, Muldoon waking up in bed with Tam, and that's what he used to call Thea. Did I say something about a Schnapp election last night? Well, Muldoon did have trouble in remembering what he had said the night before, and he, in fact, agreed to an interview with me. God, it's going quick. Can you slow it down, Fabio? He agreed an interview with me on the night of the Schnapps election, 2 days out, conceded defeat. He nodded his head, or shook his head when I said, have you won the election, Prime Minister? He shook his head and I said, no, Prime Minister, radio, you've got to speak. So he did. And of course, David Longy. Well, it was an election for David Longy, and the asking was where the Roger goes, I go request, and of course it was true. He was, both of them eventually went. It was enough to drive a man to drink, though, and Longy did develop a taste for it, which was more than you could say for Uncle Sam that he had of him. Longy was certainly a bitter taste in the American's mouth. He, in fact, never darkened the White House door in all his time as Prime Minister, but he did win the heart of the anti-nuclear fan Yoko Ono. He went strolling with her in Strawberry Park. Oh, God, we're up to Jeffrey. See, that's what I mean. That's pretty ill-disciplined, you see. Jeffrey Palmer, well, he couldn't believe his luck when Longy went, waving his celebratory little green book. He'd forgotten Labour's colour was red. The only real laugh he got was when the farewell press conference of David Longy, an excited Jeffrey laid it on with a trowel. Longy stopped in mid-sentence, declaring, Jeffrey, I've changed my mind. And the man, of course, who changed Jeffrey's mind was Mike Moore, seen here with his television presenter wife at the time. He was advised against rolling Palmer, but the lure of the top job was too much. Moore's a man who confuses many people who meet him. After leaving politics, he sent me a postcard saying, he finally understood us bastards. You print what I say, not what I mean. And of course that was a challenge because you never understood what Mike Moore meant. His favourite saying was Lake Taupo, Singapore, think about it. Well, he invited Tom and I to a meeting in Czechoslovakia once, and he started with the Czechoslovakians. It went like this: rice, tapioca, sago, get Uruguay, Europe, think about it. Well, no wonder the poor bloody Czechs are confused today. But he's now on the cocktail circuit, as you can see, in Washington. He once a president, always a president, once a prime minister, always a prime minister. He's now been referred to as the Prime Minister for 8 months, and he now will be referred to it for the next 8 years. Jim Bolger, well, he was once clinking his glasses in Washington. He fitted in so well there that he thought he was an American with his accent, particularly after a few Bushmills Irish whiskies. He became more pronounced. Introducing the Dalai Lama was a bit difficult for him. It was sort of a Sino-Indo mix. I always blamed the looseness of his dentures for his rather dangerous, his rather unusual accents. Good morning, Mr. Dalai Lama. He's trying to keep those dentures in place. Now, Shipley once accused Jim Bolger of running the country in a bottle of scotch. How wrong she was, I'll explain that in a minute. But nothing of the sort for this imperious woman. She was born in February 1952 in Gore. In fact, as I lay there on the next bassinet tour, I thought one day I'm going to get my own back on this woman. It's true, we were born within days of each other, and I got my own back when she rolled poor old Jim Bolger as he was practicing his accents in Paris. The closest she ever got to imbibing was when she phoned me and gave me a rendition of Happy Birthday. It was on my answer phone until I went swimming with my cell phone, and I think it was probably a merciful release. Well, down the gurgler she went, and Helen Clark came in. Half a glass of Chardonnay was her tip, although that was her limit. In fact, it was her drink of choice. I didn't say aphrodisiac because it would have been a waste of time. Helen was so accessible, she was, to the media that you almost put a block on your phone. But even gossip sessions and invective would put Bob Jones to shame. This is the airbrushed photo that she loved. I went to Brunei once with her, and this photo was sent in advance of our trip. And the local media got a hold of it and said, look, we've got a Prime Minister coming with the good looks of a model. When she turned up, because nobody noticed her. Here she is, the real Helen Clark, at the United Nations. That's her natural home. Ensconced she is in Donald Trump Tower in the Big Apple. Watch out Ban Ki-moon, that's all I can say. When he's gone, when he goes down below the horizon, Helen will be in her ascendancy. But speaking of Key, here he is, the man who became Prime Minister at the time it takes an apprentice to become a journeyman. John Key's a gambler, laying his leadership cards on the table even before Don Brash had showed his hand. He's a Pinot Noir man. We get a bottle of JK from Central Otago every Christmas. Certainly a cuppa's no longer his tipple. Certainly not with John Banks anyway. They were like, well, an odd couple, weren't they? They must have certainly been the most oddest couple at that high tea that they had in Parnell. Given what happened with MMP today, divorce is probably on the cards at the next election. So too is gay marriage. John Key voted against civil unions, but when he was a rookie MP, that was when he was a rookie MP, but he's voting for gay marriage, so go figure. Self-assured he is, but he's not always that self-assured, accusing me once of not liking him terribly much. But I assured him that, look, it wasn't a personal thing. I'm a journalist, he's a politician. But you'd never get that sense of insecurity from this man, Winston Peters. He's the odd one out tonight. Not unusual for him to be in. This man likes a libation while conducting late night meetings around the corner here at the Green Parrot. But it's not true that he ran the country on a bottle of scotch. He ran it on a case. And I rest mine. Thank you for listening.